Okay. Fifth time is the charm. So, as I said in my last video, I wanted to try to start recording a session where the character wasn't so overpowered like I have Randall right now. This character is level 18. Meet Argent Justice. Her real name is Jessica Trenton. She is a martial arts willpower scrapper. Martial arts is a relative term with the way City of Heroes works. And right now I'm in the middle of an arc. Shauna Stockwell's arc. Marked for Death. The Superdyne Ring. The Superdyne Ring is the arc. Marked for Death is the current mission. This is what is called the New Skulls arc. There's an old Skulls arc. It's called Bonefire, and it features a gang war between the Hellions and the Skulls. Two groups that are largely considered the whipping boys of the setting, even though they are inspired by the Crips and the Bloods. The Skulls being the Crips, the Hellions being the Bloods. So imagine how bad those gangs are and add magic powers to them. The Skulls, they use the magic powers of the forces of darkness, necromancy, shadow attacks, that sort of thing. The Hellions, they use fire and brimstone, sometimes literally. One of the funnier aspects is that the Hellions have succubi among their ranks now. Girlfriends from hell, which I find just hilarious. The Hellions have to summon their own girlfriends, and there's every possibility that they're still not getting laid. This arc has a lot of neat aspects to it. You go around meeting a lot of the older contacts, people that sent you on mostly random missions that did little more than add flavor to the setting. This one, those missions, they were your basic fare. Go to a door, go into the map, fight enemies, collect objectives, and you're done. These newer missions incorporated more thematic elements, like this cutscene. A lot of players don't like the cutscenes. They're also the same people who sit there complaining that they're not getting as much DPS as they think they should be, or they'll sit there and watch somebody play and be like, hey, you're playing that character wrong. Look, offer some pointers on how a person can get some more bang for their buck. Don't tell anybody how to play their character. I mean, telling people how to play their characters, how we wound up with this bizarre hatred of knockback. Why do they hate knockback? Because it takes the enemies out of the damage radius. It cuts down on the DPS. But goddamn, Knocking that guy across the room was fucking satisfying. The sweet chin music there, by the way, is what this game calls the crane kick. It doesn't always do knockback, but when it does, it is so satisfying. Ugh. Again, with the ragdoll physics really screwing somebody up. Sometimes I feel a little sorry for these NPCs. Just a little bit. A tad. I like the word bubbles over the enemies. It does make it feel like you're playing a comic book. But that's where you get into the weird aspects of how much do you adhere to the medium. Sadly, the game was shut down just as the developers were incorporating voiceover into the game, into the various aspects of it. Now you might be wondering why I'm agitating everybody. Why am I agitating these dots? Well, that dates me a little bit, doesn't it? No, it's because if I defeat the boss, everybody runs away. And I don't want them to do that. I want to beat up everybody in this room. Satisfying when Crane Kick does that. Punk. And the reason why I'm bringing up the voiceover is you'll see the word bubbles over enemies' heads. Oops. And in the cutscenes, they're just too damn quick. Damn. I'm not in a good way. Unless, of course, the enemies lose interest in me. Anyway, in the cutscenes, the NPC speech bubbles just go by way too quick for any reasonable voice acting. And there we go. That got everybody. If I'd just beaten her, everybody else would have run away, and I wouldn't have gotten any of those experience points, none of that salvage, none of those enhancements, none of the... I didn't really get many inspirations out of those guys, did I? Game's being stingy. Now I gotta go to Anderson Construction. A little bit of the history. This game actually made me start looking at the plaques around me in my county seat, various towns that I go to. In this game, you end up getting some bonuses for certain collections of plaques and badges. Most people don't really go hunting for the plaques and badges anymore, though, because you get much better bonuses much more readily via enhancement bonuses. I'm just going to junk that. Nobody in here. Damn it, that was the wrong person. This attack is a cone attack. A very close cone attack. You can probably get that guy. One time, back in the Paragon days, somebody asked me how I justified Sands of Mu, and I was like, it's random fist attacks. What is so hard about that? I love using Crane Kick as a finishing hit. take a quick breather. So, if you're watching, you're probably wondering, are all of your characters going to be in civilian attire? Well, no. Argent Justice has several costumes at her disposal. A few civilian outfits and several superheroine outfits. As you can see, she has a bit of a ripped physique. Sadly, since that's the case, there are very few costume pieces that I can use to demonstrate that. She doesn't wear the cestus to hit them harder. She wears the cestus for their protection. I guess at some point I'll end up getting this character level 20, which will get her a new costume slot. Oh, here we go. Keep moving those containers. We haven't got all night. Argent Justice. My brother. He tells me not to hunt you. He tells me killing you would be bad for business, that it isn't right time. Maybe that's true. Maybe. Unfortunately for you, I never had good mind for business. Chernobog registers as an elite boss. And he immediately aggroes on me, throwing weird demon crap. Now, normally I try to get the attention of everybody in the room, fight everyone, but this guy, he's a big beefy boy. I think I'd rather just put my attention on him. Chernobog is using what is called Titan weapons. And now he has a broken jaw. And that's exactly what I was talking about. All of the gang members flee. I can't target any of them. I can't stop them from getting away. But it's not a big deal. Because I reach out to the contact and... Huh. Right, that seems like more when it's the lower levels. Introduce new contact, Eagle Eye. These are different contacts. All these people have something to do with the overall plot of the game, but for most players, they're just fluff. I wonder how many people even remember Tao Ku. I didn't even remember Tao Ku until I started playing Argent Justice, Blue Freedom, and Ardent Protector, my newest characters. And just dawned on me, hey, I want to go check out what the old content was like. I ended up surprising my friends yesterday when they were like, hey, you got anything to do? And I was like, you guys want to go fight Dr. Vozlok? They had forgotten that you could fight him outside of the task force. This is where the writing started to get kind of weird for City of Heroes. Different supergroups trying to invite you into their latest scheme. You've got the shooting stars for the introductory arcs that from levels 5 to 20 you're being shown various aspects of the game. Not particularly well, but it's enough to get your head into it. There's this arc where you're joining the new regulators, a resurgence of one of the classic hero teams of the game's back lore. And later on, you end up getting to join the new Praetorians. You practically lead them. And the Freedom Phalanx even brings you in as an honorary member. The top tier team, and one of the first things they do is they start taking cues from a girl who's barely out of her teens. It's like, who started writing this? I don't know. But this arc was one of the things that the Paragon developers had in the works when NCSoft shut the game down. This is where they started getting away from just go into every building and fight everybody. They started making things happen. I don't have to come here and fight everybody. I can run through the building and be like, hey, what happened? Why is everybody dead? Like, earlier, there were very few instances where people were actually said to be dead, and that was mostly on City of Villains. There were a couple missions in City of Heroes where it did happen, where it's like, you finish a mission, you go and talk to the contact, and the contact's like, yeah, I'm sorry he didn't survive. It's like, ugh. And then City of Villains, it's like, I want you to go and kill that guy. And there were endless debates on the forums. No, we're not killing them, we're just defeating them. But here, we've got dead bodies. And here, the councilman I'm supposed to be meeting. And first, Councilman Hammond appears to be unconscious, but then you see his cold, lifeless eyes and the look of terror frozen on his face. He is very, very dead. You find a single cut on Hammett's right hand, but while it's deep, it isn't lethal. Scrawled in his own blood upon his shirt, however, you read the following message: "The Lords of Death are watching." Suddenly you hear voices elsewhere in the building. Older versions of the game, those guys would have attacked me while I was reading that last window. Paragon developers had finally figured out the quirks of their engine and what they needed to do to make certain cinematic things actually happen. Jeez. The Homecoming team has to slowly learn that stuff themselves, and of course, they're constantly dealing with the question of whether or not NCSoft will just shut them down. Now that the pandemic is clearing up, maybe talks will resume again. I hope things go okay. I can only speculate. I can only hope that since the NCSoft of today is not the same NCSoft that shut City of Heroes down in the first place, it's possible that they just might realize that this was a viable product. They could see this as like market research. This was a damn good game. And they didn't just let it slip through their fingers, they threw it against the goddamn wall. While the MCU was becoming a huge thing. I know DC Universe Online certainly enjoyed some success from spillover from people who are like, yeah, superheroes, I want to play a game where I can be a superhero. C'est la vie. So this is the closest thing City of Heroes has to gear. They're called enhancements, and they are a large part of why the Sidekick system works so well in City of Heroes and why so many other games just have not been able to get any similar system to work on their end. These don't work on raw numbers. Increases healing, hit point buffs, and damage absorption by 35%. If I get sidekicked up to level 49, this will increase healing, hit point buffs, and damage absorption by 35%. That number never changes. Now, it can. When I go to level 20, that number will change. I can go ahead and do an upgrade right here. increases healing, hit point buffs, and damage absorption by 38.3%. But if I get sidekicked up to level 49 again, a level 50 player sidekicking me and having me play alongside them, going through missions with them, as long as I don't level up, that will stay 38.3%. All the other numbers that need to be increased, my raw accuracy, my raw damage, all that, that just levels up to what a normal level 49 character would be. Champions Online also has a sidekick system. They've also got gear. That gear provides only raw numbers. Then you start going into, you get sidekicked by a, say you're a level 1 character, you get level 1 gear. Ooh, yay. Boosts my accuracy and damage by 5. You get sidekicked up to level 19 by level 20 character. Level 20 characters using stuff that is boosting their damage by 100 something. You're still only boosted by 5. Meanwhile, you're fighting enemies that are expecting, that were designed under the expectation that your damage output would be boosted by 100 something. And it's all raw numbers. That is a system that does not work. Okay. Damn. Funny thing about this arc, normally you don't fight members of the family, the mobsters, until you hit level 20. In this arc, you can fight them as early as level 15. And it actually makes narrative sense. The family is supplying the skulls with the drug Superadine. It's a drug that's supposed to give people superpowers, just the basic super strength and resilience. But with the way it got cut, Superadine has a nasty habit of turning people into trolls. It also has a lot of other weird side effects. It can cause random powers to be generated. In the game's backstory, Superadine is what led to the world of City of Heroes finding alternate Earths. But in the modern day, Superadine largely just leads to super strength, invulnerability, which is better described as resilience, and occasionally gravity manipulation, gravity control. Huh. Huh. Hey guys, you spawned right on top of me. You don't normally do that. You usually wait a while. Well, then I guess I'll just wait here. I guess they just came out of that bathroom is all. Oh, no more? Alright then. I hope you don't mind my rotating the camera. I like watching my characters beat the crap out of people. With melee characters, you just press F. Your character follows the enemy. Then you can just rotate your vision. Don't have to worry about resetting your camera. Your character just reorients. Oh boy, time to break up a meeting. I always love missing the guy right in front of me, but hitting the guy behind him. Makes me feel like I'm reaching over the guy's shoulders. Oh, that was a waste of sands of moo. Oh! Broke that poor bastard in half. Just gotta love the fact that the crime family is still using Thompson machine guns. Not terrible weapons, but it's not the 20s anymore. Kill you? No, I'm here to protect you. Security? Those are family goons, ma'am. Wait, the family wants to stomp out Superdine in King's Row? And there's the assassin. Now it's time to fight. She doesn't have Sands of Mu. What she has is called Shadow Maul. Then she vanishes. Technically, she's still there. Hence the reason why my character hasn't moved, and we get those little triangles. Now she's gone. Just the fun little quirks of how this game works. And here we have one of the first instances of a moral choice that you need to take. And this one is actually a pretty interesting question of where do you draw the line on government corruption? This woman is basically trying to use the criminal element to help bring an end to the drug trade in her city. On top of that, there's the question of whether or not Sebastian Frost, the current leader of the Frost crime syndicate, is actually a bad guy, or if he is actually trying to reform his family. Who knows? Maybe this would have shown up in a later arc if NCSoft hadn't shut down the game. Maybe we would have seen the Frost family go to war against itself, and heroes and villains would have had to have gotten involved. But I don't know, because this arc is where this whole story ends. And in the meantime, for this particular conundrum, this has no impact on the rest of the story. We could put her under arrest, say the secret is safe with us. Doesn't change anything. And while I'm here, I'm going to grab one of the exploration badges. I think it's the next tower. Oh, nope, that was it. Keen-sighted. Where is it? Ah, there it is. That right there is the badge marker. These things actually disappear. Ah. If you're not close enough. This arc actually dives into something that was only hinted at in one of the older, more original arcs. In fact, when I say original, I mean Origins. So, when the game first began, you could pick an origin for your character. Natural, science, magic, technology, or mutancy. Mutation. And depending on which one you chose, determined which particular subset of Freedom Corps would be guiding you throughout your career. But since most people skipped all of that anyway, the developers eventually made it so that the origins didn't really mean anything. There were a bunch of other things that they were planning on doing that eventually got backburnered for so long, it just stopped being a thing. In the end, your origin really only determines which single origin enhancements you get, which dual origin enhancements you can slot in, that sort of thing. They never made it so that you can't, if you try to slot in a tech origin power, it has less effect or anything like that. No, they just kept it simple. A very common piece of design philosophy. Keep it simple, stupid. The more people have to think about what they have to do, the more they're going to dislike it. Dang it, he's gone. Oh, nope, there he is. The character's name was Argent Star, and here I am, Argent Justice. I wonder if he also had the same idea of using that name, and if he saw me and went, "That's the fucker that stole my name!" This is a neat little mission. The implications. So how did I put this disguise on? Funny thing about the skulls, those are apparently actual skulls that they've cut into masks. Like, again, imagine the crypts if they'd gotten even more demented. Like, really the only reason why my character looks like this is because NPCs have randomized outfits and skin tones. Some have tattoos, some don't. Some have hairdos, some don't. One thing that's always common with the skulls, they're wearing a skull faceplate of some kind. Boom dust. That's right, I'm ready. I told you I'm ready. True skull isn't afraid of death. Hope makes you weak. It's kind of funny that they throw that in there. There's a lot of Greek philosophy and Greek mythology that is in this game. Hope makes you weak is a Greek philosophy, or at least ancient Greek philosophy. Just everybody's using assault rifles. Must be that super dying. I kind of wish there was more of this sort of thing in this game. Being able to play around as a souped up NPC. Now, the funny thing is, I could stick around and watch the cops shoot the hell out of these people. It is a bit more of a back and forth fight, but there really are just more cops. And the cops are also set up to be tougher, hit harder. And I got a friend talking to me. Well, I would say that's enough. I've been doing this for a while. Been rambling about all sorts of different things, and at least I didn't go into a weird political diatribe like I did last time. Well, 2 times ago. I got interrupted the other 2 times. So, that's this game in a nutshell. Yeah. I think I'll go ahead and shut down here and chat with my buddy. Until next time, have a good one.